Even if you don't make it to the top of the mountain, the person you become in the pursuit of that has a ripple effect on this world.
Sean Callagy is the Chief Visionary Officer and co-founder of Unblinded. He's the founder and president of his 100-plus person law firm, Callagy Law. When he was only 6 months out of law school in his 20s, while going blind, he quit his job at a prestigious law firm, and within 2 years from then, he built his first 40-person law firm, which he sold 3.5 years later for a multiple 7-figure exit as the only equity partner. Sean is one of only 2 attorneys out of 1,220,000 attorneys in America to achieve 2 top 100 national jury verdicts between 2014 and 2016. And the only one who was blind. Like, come on, can you get any cooler?
Not as cool as you, because I said I do things in extreme conditions. My definition of extreme, Jen, has now completely changed because of you. Yes, so thank you for having me here today.
Oh my gosh, I read this and I'm like tripping over because I'm like, there's more and more and more, and you're so magnificent. I want to start with, you lost most of your sight by age 15. Like, how did that early adversity shape your definition of resilience? And what mindset shift enabled you to see opportunity instead of limitation?
So, I mean, tighten that up just a hair. So I knew I was losing vision by the age of 15. Mm-hmm. I still went on to be a Division I athlete at Columbia University, baseball captain. And so the reality, Jen, is while compromised, while embarrassed at certain times, literally chasing birds instead of fly balls. It happened in high school. Still captain of the team and still this, really developed athlete. I wouldn't say naturally gifted athlete. But it was something, believe it or not, because of my grandfather and other people in my family with my hereditary degenerative eye disease, that didn't strike me as something that was a core part of my life. As crazy as that sounds, whether I was blessed, whether I was fortunate, how that developed, has never, the process of going blind, being blind at the level I am now, can't see you, can't see anything in front of my face in any way, shape, or form, just have little tiny bits of peripheral vision. What people have is a 10% visual peripheral field, is about what I have, 0% in my central. And not one day, this is the God's honest truth, have I felt sorry for myself? I felt bad about it. It doesn't make me special or unique. I feel bad and sorry for myself about other things at times, but somehow, some way, I've been blessed by seeing this as an opportunity, which it has been for my entire life.
Yeah, and you took that opportunity and you're like, okay, well, that's not even a factor. Where most people would be like, well, that's a limiting belief that I can subscribe to, society approves it, this is fine. But you just were like, okay, that's a part of me, and onward and upward.
Yeah, and I thank God for it. I thank my grandfather for it. He was strong and powerful. He was disruptive in what being blind meant. He was physically present. He was somebody who did manual labor. He never went to high school, so I was not raised with any resources, money. My grandparents neither graduated from high school. We lived with them after my parents were divorced when I was 1 year old. My mom pushed a hot dog cart in Jersey City when I was a baby. But the strength, the power, the certainty my grandfather had as a blind man was a tremendous asset in my life because it gave me a completely different frame for it.
Okay, so that mentor early on just allowed you to own this and be who you are. How important do you think mentors are in our careers?
Invaluable. I mean, everything is modeling.
Yeah.
Right? Everything is modeling.
And how do you pick a mentor for you today?
Yeah, so very simple, because part of our mechanism in the Unblinded formula begins in process mastery, and the first component is modeling. And so we always talk about is I don't listen to anyone at all, with one little caveat, that doesn't have what I want in the relevant area. So part of what allowed me to quit my job at this major law firm 6 months out of law school is because there wasn't a single person who worked at that law firm who had the life I wanted.
Okay.
And so I always look for who has what I want, not only materially, but also in terms of their magic, their integrity, their value construct. Those are the people and the only people I follow. However, it can also be really situational. Mm-hmm. I've learned a lot from Howard Stern. And I don't agree with all the things that Howard Stern does, but he's one of the most profoundly disruptive interviewers that's ever been created. I learned a tremendous amount from Motley Crue and Ozzy Osbourne. I don't agree with their value structure. I've never done a drug in my entire life. I don't agree in womanizing. But there's powerful things we can learn from people in certain segments and silos as well. So it doesn't have to be complete and holistic for me, but if people have achieved a unique place, like Howard Stern achieved the place of being the most successful person in the history of radio, it has to tell us something. Ozzy Osbourne, God rest his soul, recently passed, Motley Crue, Bruce Springsteen. I may not agree with all of what they believe in, but there's things to be learned from people who reach the top of their craft. And so the second component of what I look for in a mentor is like what not to model, because what's not relevant to what they achieved that is relevant to me.
No, I love that. And I think success leaves clues, right? So if success leaves clues, you look at somebody like, okay, well, what are they doing? How are they eating? How are they structuring their day? What are they reading? What are they consuming? Those are things that we can take from them, integrate into our lives, and make it our superpower too.
Amen. And you've become a model for me.
Oh.
And I don't ingratiate, I don't say things to just be kind, but you have, because you've become one of the most extreme performers, outliers that I've ever met in the physical realm. You're a woman, which is incredible, and I'm a poli-sci major in undergrad, but it makes you an extra outlier because the feminine energy, right, isn't necessarily predisposed to climb mountains and reach peaks. So you've created a paradigm for me that transcends, though, the physical. I've done a lot of things physically, nothing in comparison to you, but I've done a lot of really unique things physically. But there's also a transcendent paradigm to how you've mastered yourself. So when I heard you speak at Zenith Mastermind, thank you, Tony Robbins, Dean Graziosi, where we had the blessing and privilege of meeting, I became present to this powerful, disruptive recreation of life that you stand for. And so you have also become one of the models for me, the mentors for me, and I thank you for that, Jen.
Oh, thank you. And the reason why Sean is here, because he is my favorite human ever, and so I wanted to share all of his wonderful expertise with all of you listening today, so thank you for being here. So yeah, you had this vision of exiting this law firm 6 months out of law school, and you're like, no, I don't want to copy anybody's life here. There's no one here that I want to emulate. How did you have the courage to just go your own way?
Sure. So thank you for that. But I think I was just maybe a lot less pain tolerant than you are on the peak of Everest. I was in so much pain.
Okay.
And I knew I wasn't going to lead the life I wanted to lead. And I felt like I was in a race against time with going blind. So I was originally going to quit, become a high school baseball coach and football coach, and simply do that.
Okay.
And go broke.
Okay.
Go blind, and do it for as long as I could. I think Tony Robbins, a chiropractor of mine, said, read his book, Awaken the Giant Within. I had no idea who he was. I read it, and what it created for me was a reframe of a challenge I had. Because what really made me want to leave the law is I thought marketing and selling were no part of the legal world. That's how horrific the traditional educational models are. I'm a Columbia undergrad. I went to law school, graduated with honors. Nowhere did I learn what Peter Drucker said, that all business is marketing and innovation. So when I discovered the people who had freedom at this law firm were the business developers, I was like, I'm not doing that. Marketers and salespeople are horrible. They're gross. They're disgusting. They're fraudulent. And Tony had this amazing section of Awaken the Giant Within that talked about transformational vocabulary and also reframing limiting belief structures. So I discovered my great limiting belief was that marketing and selling were evil. It's like, what if they could be incomplete integrity? What if they could be integrous? Which, P.S., is a word, integrous. And what if they could be that? And what if I could be this trailblazer who discovers the patterns that exist, just like I did in peak performance athletics? What if I could discover that in business? And what if I could do it first for myself, humbly respect that a lot of people give business advice that have never actually achieved anything in business besides marketing their coaching service? I'm like, what if I could authentically do something ridiculous? Like, what if I could build and sell a law firm in a few years? Like, nobody could do that in their late 20s, right? Like 6 months out of law school. What if I could do that and prove it works? So my reframe was I was in so much pain, and it wasn't that courageous. I had no choice.
Yeah, no choice.
Because I would have been so miserable, kind of like you talk about in the reframe of your life.
Right.
It wasn't that courageous and brave as I understand it from you.
Right.
It was you just had no choice. I had no choice. I believe pain, as Tony would say, pain drives behavior. My athletic coaches taught me that.
Yep.
Tony taught me that. So it was a simple step forward, and I was scared to death. But I was more afraid of living a life of quiet desperation, of misery, of pain, than I was for living truly. And I took a shot. I'm like, I have no idea if this is going to work, but I want to figure out if I can codify how all this works, and if I could achieve it for myself, then I could live a life sharing with others.
I love this, because I do the same thing. Like when you're gonna take on something hard and crazy, like climbing a mountain, the only way you stay disciplined to do that thing is if the picture you painted of not doing it is worse.
Yeah.
Right? So like I spent so much time making this imagery of like, if I don't do this, this is how horrible and ugly and disappointing my life will be. So when I was in those questionable moments, I'm like, this is better than that. This is better than that. I'm taking the next step.
Amen.
Yeah.
Truly inspirational. You are fully aligned, and thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you. So when you set out to build this law firm and you're like 3.5 years later, sell it, did you have the entire vision from the beginning, or did it start evolving? Because I think a lot of people hear this, begin with the end in mind, but you don't always know what the end is, but as long as you get started, it starts forming as you take steps.
Amen. And no, I didn't have the vision. I had no idea what I was going to do. And I jumped off a cliff.
Yeah.
And people thought that I had, I didn't even go to Tony Robbins' events. I just read the book. Then I read a book by Jay Abraham, a book by Jerry Spence, and another book called How to Make a Fortune from Public Speaking by Robert Anthony. Those 4 books created the foundational essence of what I wanted to do, but they weren't complete. So I had no idea. I didn't even know what type of law I wanted to practice. Okay. So I created a networking group with BNI.
Yep.
I am BNI's most successful member ever, perhaps.
Of course, forever and ever.
But I finished in 6 months, because you should always be graduating from a networking group, right? That's a longer conversation for a different day. But I graduated in 6 months, and it allowed me to make one, what I call ecosystem merger with the New Jersey Chiropractic Society. And I looked for a few different ecosystem mergers, and I discovered there's this thing called medical revenue recovery. And I'm like, I think I could do this. I think that my age will be less of a friction point, and this could really happen. So no, I had no idea of the end in mind, but I knew I need to go forward. I needed to know and discover what area of the law I want to practice, but more importantly, Jen, what I discovered is it's all about platform building. And I figured this out, and I thank Jay Abraham for this unique distinction of becoming preeminent. So I created the language of ecosystem, and I'm like, I need to become ecosystem preeminent in certain relevant ecosystems, and once you're preeminent in anything, you can create massive amounts of opportunities to serve people. And so I became preeminent in the Northern New Jersey Chiropractic Society, the New Jersey Chiropractic Society, and I went from making $2,500 a month to about 14 months later, I was making $100,000 a month. It was impossible to me. I had never seen or experienced anything like it. I had a beach house, I had a convertible, I had my new primary residence. It was this extraordinary, mind-blowing possibility, and I'm like, this works.
Right, and when you feel that, don't you, and you all of a sudden blow your mind on what's possible, then you're like, this feels so amazing, I want others to feel it. Right?
Yeah,
so then you're like, okay, how do I transfer this to others so that they can have this sensation, because that's amazing. And you've been able to do this, so walk us through that piece.
Sure. So it's the agreement I made with God, right? I'm a person of faith for sure. I don't profess like, oh, you need to believe what I believe, but I think if we don't believe in some higher power, I think we have a great challenge. So what drives me is the principle from the Bible. I don't want to have buried my talents, nor do I want to have squandered my talents, but I want to have exponentially multiplied my talents. So when I stand before my Creator, I have the blessing and privilege of answering that question imperfectly, but hopefully reasonably well, right? At least compared to the curve of life in humanity. And so what I agreed to do with God is, I'm like, God, if you can show me this way, if I can learn and develop these insights, then I'm going to spend the rest of my life bringing this forward to people. Because I think people are indentured. The word enslaved can be provocative, so I'll stay a little short of enslaved, but indentured, they're chained. They're not free in their own minds and hearts, and they don't know how to do things. I'm like, if I could discover not only how to free my mind, my heart, and my soul, but the how to. Like you, Jen, when you climbed mountains, you had to know how to. You could have been super inspired, but if you didn't have the right clothing, you told me about the digits being lost to people on these climbs, God forbid people losing their life, even doing all the right things, but if you don't have the right clothing, the right equipment, if you didn't have the right mechanism process, if you didn't know how to take a stick, as you talked about in your talk, put it in the ground and figure out each step what to do next, how to climb and ascend, all of it, if you didn't know how to do that through being consulted, coached, trained as you were, you'd be dead right now.
100%.
It's the same thing for people in business. I'm like, I want to know the how to. Like motivation, inspiration, it's a beautiful thing, but it's a seed. What's the soil? What's the nutrients that are needed to grow, build, scale, business, economics? That became foundational for me because I had taken business classes in law school. I took macro and microeconomic classes at Columbia. I had no clue what to do. I had no idea how to make money. And what I began to discover is this alternate world of professional and personal development that had better answers, but still incomplete. And my goal became to codify it. And then once I did, to do what you just said, to free people, to not only free their minds, their hearts and souls, but to literally train them how to climb the mountains of their financial abundance, their duplication and scaling, and their overall impact in the world. And I could not imagine that there's a better way to live. It's what you do, it's what I do, and yeah, that's how we're here.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like, I'm a firm believer in abundance. And I'm also a firm believer that you get these moments where you're called to the table and you get a divine assignment and you say yes, and then you start living out that divine assignment. That's why when things go wrong or sideways, whatever else like that, you're like, okay, this is just part of the story because I know wholeheartedly I'm supposed to do this thing. So whatever comes my way, that's just to confirm that I know wholeheartedly I'm supposed to do this thing. And you just keep taking steps, and then you keep sharing, and you get to the mountaintop, fantastic. Doesn't matter. It's who we bring to the mountaintop or who we help else get to the mountaintop.
Amen.
That our life becomes important and legacy unfolds.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's go. I'm here for it.
Amen.
How do you document and refine processes so that your business is scale and you don't spin out your teams?
Oof. So this is probably a 6-day answer. I'll try to compress it to 2 minutes.
That you can go and experience one of his retreats and he'll help you with this, so yes.
So, but I'll give my best version of a 2-minute answer. And I'm
Okay.
going to have a little fun with this, and then I'll back it up.
Okay.
So it's called process mastery, and there's 4 components of process mastery: modeling, time blocking, maximization through measure monitoring, innovation, and optimization. The subcomponent of modeling for all growth of business are the 7 levers of marketing and sales process mastery. Lever 0.5, shared experiences, which we're having right now. Lever 1, ecosystem merging. Lever 2, speaking engagements to increase. At lever 3, the exponentiality of quality and quantity of sales meetings, which lead to exponential growth of sales at lever 4, which leads to the exponential growth of disposable income at lever 5, which leads to the abundance of money, time, and resources, the greatest resource being energy, at lever 6 of contributions, to then have it all wrapped around fun and magic. That's my answer. Now, to break that down, and that was a little bit of fun and a little bit of flex in the development of the mechanism, there really is a science and a codification of how to do that. And so how do you not spin out the team and burn out the team? It's finding out what they want. So what I always say is I want to plug people into our, if people are, what I'll say is under the Pareto principle, it's the 80-20 rule, but I go to standard deviations, like 20% of 20% is 0.8%. Like 20% of 4% and 20% is the 0.8%. The 0.16% is one more, and 0.032%, 0.0064%. I'm looking for people who are 0.8% or greater people.
Okay.
Once I find those people, then I want to find out what they want, because this is not about me, it's about them. So that's like Tink, people on my team that you've met, right?
Yes.
So what does Tink want? And I want to create an engine and mechanism for Tink to be with me forever. My job with my team is to create enough inspired value for them, personally, professionally, and financially, that they want to stay with me forever. I have over 150 people that work with me. I have 30 people that have been working with me for 10 years or more. I've never had a single person quit that I wasn't hoping we would be exiting them anyway, right? So people have quit. I've fired lots of people, right? And I love people, but at unconditioned boundaries. So there's a mechanism and a process of identifying what people want that then it's got to fit into those 7 levers of marketing and sales process mastery for the business. Which of those levers do they fit into? What do they do? But there's an intentionality. Like when I come here, you're a B. Like you're a B. What a B does is it connects O's and C's. So I have an intentional language. You're like, I don't even know what a B is. What are you talking about? Like everything is that. And what I also know is that most people who are O's and B's do not have an optimal back end to their mechanism. So I'm sitting in this chair to serve you and your audience, but also to say there's an incredible intention behind it. And the intention is always integrous. It's to add more value than I'll receive, to be completely transparent. I'm saying on your podcast that there's an intention behind it, right? But intention doesn't equal manipulation. It doesn't equal lack of integrity. But intention is to look at the world and say, the people that work for you, the people that partner with you, say, what is the value they're seeking? So I'm always looking for like, what's their ultimate mission, vision, purpose? And you find that there's patterns to it, and they become really, really simple. And once you discern that, it becomes extremely easy to create ecosystem partnerships that create leveraged, massive, and exponential value. So simple headline answer now to your question is, figure out what people want and give it to them. But what they all want is either more money as primary, and or more time freedom as primary, and or more magic and impact. Find out which of those, and there's an easy science of doing that they want first, and create very specific, direct, transparent agreements of how that occurs. And then once people figure out that you are the pathway to the more they seek, the money, time, and magic, to support the fulfillment of their ultimate mission, vision, purpose, Jen, no one will ever leave you. So my mechanism is to be the master of how to do that. And Dean, Tony, people, yourself, to be that solve. So I don't walk up to people like, oh my God, you're famous, can I take a picture? Oh my God, you're incredible, you're famous. Let me tell you my story. Like, I know exactly what I want to do with those people and how to get there by gaining their trust, gaining their confidence, and delivering massively and integrously. I do that if it's a person like a Tony Robbins, or if it's a person who is working with me at an entry-level position. So that's my answer.
It's a fabulous answer, and there's so much there that we could unpack, but I look back at my beginning journey, and when I would hire people, I just didn't have the abundance mentality, right? And so I tried to hold on to them, I tried to form them where I was, and then I had the aha moment, and I'm like, okay, here's who this person is. This is who I am. I'm going to elevate them and have them on the team as long as I can. If someday they leave, they're going to leave saying good things about me and all this kind of stuff, and they might come back. And then, right? And then when they come back, it's like, okay, go learn that skill and bring it back to us, because like, I'm here to help you live your best life. And by me helping you live your best life, we're all going to live our best lives. And then there are some amazing people, like my nanny has been with us for 18 years.
Wow. That's awesome.
When you have somebody that is part of your ecosystem for that long, that history, you can't replace. They know how you think. They know what you're doing. They can anticipate your needs. And that just helps everybody work so much better.
Amen. And how would anybody not want to keep working with Jen Drummond? Like, that's crazy.
I don't know. I can get a little rowdy at times.
Yes, I am not confused about that also, but that's also what makes you amazingly you.
Yeah. Okay, with teams and clients that is spread across time zones, how do you maintain influence and connection when you can't meet face to face?
Yes. So what we do is extreme and completely nutso to most. But would you believe it or not, Jen, we have daily encounters with the people in our Unblinded ecosystem and our teams daily. We have a daily deep practice at 8 a.m. The deep practice is to increase people's influence mastery. What we believe to be the only attainable human superpower is the ability to cause yes with other humans. So every day, the gym is open virtually, 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, right? And then at 8:30, and I host that once a week, I host the huddle every single day at 8:30. So I was up till 3:30 in the morning. You travel like crazy. The last 30 days have been nuts for me.
Yeah, like
I've been in
all over.
Led immersion, been in Grand Cayman, 2 different segments for a week. I was down on Long Beach Island hosting, a party for Bella Verita and her family, over 4th of July weekend. My whole big family is the 50th anniversary of my grandparents. I flew to my dad, was in the hospital. got him on a private plane yesterday, coming back from Cayman. I've been in like 8 different states in the last month, right?
Yeah.
And the mechanism of all of that, like this process of living with all of this craziness and all of these people, always comes back to the simple foundational principle of when we're looking to serve human beings, we're looking to advance the mission, we're looking to cause all of these beautiful things, like how do we keep all of these paradigms together simultaneously while serving humanity?
And you do that with these, like, they can hold, they know, like they get this constant every single day, 8:30 a.m., the gym's open, I get my plug in, and that's how I stay connected, even though I'm in different time zones, different states, different everything.
Yeah, all over so I'm in Cayman.
Yeah.
On vacation,
Yeah.
and I'm running huddles.
Okay.
Right?
And how long's the huddle?
The huddle is 15 minutes.
Okay.
Average day. It's never less than 15.
Okay.
I'll go once every 20. It's an
Okay.
hour.
Okay.
Because we'll just like go. But 15 to 20 is typical. Let's go once a week. It goes to 30. Every day we connect, and then we have immersive experiences for the people in Unblinded.
Okay.
And these immersive experiences of people in Unblinded is we get together and have the opportunity to be together 6 times a year.
Okay.
For up to 4 days. People can come virtually.
Yep.
They can come in person. But people come. We have people who come to every single immersion. Our immersions are 4 days long, Jen. Wow. For the CERT partners, they're 5. We have people that spend 30 days a year with us live. You don't have to do all that.
Yeah.
That sounds quite extreme, but some people do. And then some people come in once a year to one immersion. They do everything else virtually. But we have these live interactive dynamics in our immersive experiences. We have these daily deep practices, daily huddles. And then we have twice a week, Tuesday and Thursday evenings, we have a session. And if people with different levels of our program, we have then subgroups of 15 people at a time that I'll host those groups of people where everybody gets to connect and be like, hey, Jen, like what's happening? Hey, Mary, what's happening? Like quick, it's an hour long. And so they get 2, 3, 4 minutes of like direct attention. And sometimes if someone's got a real challenge, we'll spend 30 minutes together. Plus we have one-on-one larger sessions with people in our programs. So we touch people through deep practice huddles, group training sessions, 15 people so are being touched in segment, these live immersive experiences in one-on-one sessions. People have said to me, I'm nuts. How could you?
Yeah, I'm like losing my brains already.
How could you have this much connectivity?
Yeah.
And the answer is our retention rates for people in our programs are unprecedented. And
Yeah.
we not only are, and people are like, oh, you run a mastermind? No, I don't run a mastermind. We're training people in the formula, and then we're creating business partnerships together to build from. But it is that connectivity virtually and in person. And people, Jen, are living in California on our deep practices at 8 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
So California people, Nevada people are at 5 a.m. People like the amazing Gary Ailes, who's one of the most extraordinary people you're ever going to meet, Rick Thompson. These are massively successful entrepreneurs that are on every day together at 5 o'clock in the morning.
And what do you know the difference between people that show up every day and people that show up once a year?
Well, I'm going to give you a little bit of fun with that one. Okay. So what I would say is this. We tell people to come in the right dosage. So there are people who come every single day. We have about 500 people in the Unblinded ecosystem right now in our programs. And there are people who come every day. And sometimes these are the people at the more entry level of our programs. And they don't do anything. But they're fans of being there. And I'll say their connection and love primary. We have other people who never come, but almost never come, but do everything we say. So they'll intersect in their one-on-one sessions, and then we have people come every day who do all the things. So what I would say most is connecting in and being at certain aspects of what we're doing. The immersions, huge. The one-on-one sessions, big. But most importantly, it's the people who leave those segments. This is really the issue. Who leave those segments and drive through those 7 levers of marketing and sales process mastery with their influence mastery at a huge level, and they measure and monitor what we say to measure and monitor. Those are the people that win at the highest level.
So what I'm hearing is action.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Action, action, action. Those who will put the action behind the lessons and do the work.
Yeah. And quick footnote, what we would say is zone action, and what zone action means is it's an approximation. Because imagine, and this is the mic drop of mic drops of the moment.
Okay.
This is what I believe and teach. There's the Pareto principle, I mentioned it earlier, the 80-20 rule.
Yep.
I believe in something that is the higher levels of that, the fractal dynamics of that, right? The recursive elements of that, where we're looking, you are a 0.032% human in our language. You are 1 in millions of humans. You might be a 1 in 100 million. I'm not saying it to be nice. You're a Guinness Book of World Record holding, lunatic, freak, heart-centered, beautiful woman. You are a micro fraction creature on this planet, okay? That's why I'm here. So I seek to do things with those microfractal people. What we train and teach our people to do is be engaged in zone action, which is 0.8% or better activity. These fractal dynamics of the Pareto principle in Unblinded, what we tell people to do, with 0.8% of more optimal humans. If you think of this, we can be engaged in behavior, and this is all mathematically proven in the Pareto principle, that is literally 4,096 times more effective second to second, minute to minute, hour to hour than people engaged in 80% behavior. And by the way, if anybody's like, dude, this is like way too heavy, that's why most people in personal development are consumption junkies for a little bit of dopamine and hope, right?
Right.
What I talk about is how we could take this beautiful hard energy and become Walt Disney. Not just be like, I love Disney, like, but what did Walt do? What did Jobs do? What did Oprah do? The literal how-to and the common denominator of all is they were engaged in 0.8% or better activity, 0.8% more optimal people. Final, Dr. Phil. Yeah. Oprah goes, and Dr. Phil goes from being worth $2 million to $500 million in just a couple of years.
Yeah.
Pause.
Yeah. And that's the power that when we have people like Sean on this show that step into their magic and they're like, listen, there is a code to this. There is a formula. There are these things you can do. And I am here to share those as often as you need them, as long as you will execute them, because the change is available to all of us.
And Jed, if I could just add this for everybody, because listen, I train lawyers at the highest level, the people in our programs that are business school professors that have received Professor of the Year award from Rutgers University, like Chris Young, one of the top economic valuation people in the world, has been in our work in our programs. Like, what the heck would a business professor be in our work for? And it's because of this. The difference in the listener between the person who will skyrocket their money, time, and magic is the person that could take a deep breath and say, Jen inspires me. Jen teaches me principles of self-mastery. So much this woman has to offer, but what if you were like Jen as opposed to being a fan of Jen? And like that's the standard. And when we begin to talk about these more complex how-to moments, the distinction between the master and the dabbler, Jen's a master. Jen learned things that human beings just won't learn. Oh my God, I gotta learn how to use oxygen bottles, and so I didn't even know what the heck you learned, but I know it was complicated. Was it not, Jen?
Yeah, I know, and it's funny that you say that because some of us, I think, naturally do these things. So I did Ironman for a minute, right? Just because it sounded exciting. And when I would watch Ironman, I would watch like how the runners would run. Like I would try to feel their bodies in my body. And I would figure out like, what does that feel like? What's that movement pattern? How do I click into that? What's that like monotonous thing that just allows you to click and go and like not pay attention to the pain? And that's the difference between being a consumer and being like, no, I want to dissect that. I want to feel that and embody it in me, because if they can do it, we're all human, I can do it.
Yeah. And that's what mastery is, right? And why you are you. And the distinction would be the dabbler who watches Iron Man on television, listens to a Rocky song. I'm not making fun of people. Like it breaks my heart actually, and then goes out and says, I can't. I'm 50 pounds overweight. I just can't do this. And how silly I was to think I could. No, that's the lie.
That's the start.
Yes, absolutely. Right?
Like that's the invitation. The invitation shows up as a limitation, but it's really an invitation.
Amen.
Yeah. Okay, speaking of invitations, how do you help people break through their blind spots?
Sure. So the first thing, again, is teaching the Unblinded formula. And it has 3 components. Process mastery is what you do. Influence mastery is how you master causing yes. And self-mastery is how you get yourself to do it. We have 39 components in those 3 components.
Wow.
So there's 4 components of process mastery. There's actually 8 of the 7 levers, believe it or not. We have a lever 0.5. There's 4 steps, 12 indispensable elements, and 4 energies for integrous influence, and 7 things that liberate or destroy our self-mastery. It's an algorithmic formula. You go, 39 things? Like, dude, would you do 39 things to make $10 million, $50 million, $100 million this year? Like, I would, especially if you give the money to charity and create the impact in the things.
Yes.
So we share truth with people. And you know what, Jen? It's really hard because people, really smart people, come into our work, right? And some startup people come into our work. But we've been conditioned to believe that the 2 curses, I'll really make this simple. The death of everything is I know, I do. So to unblind people, the first thing we stop them from saying is I know, And I do, because we say, if you know, and you do, then I guess you two have a pony and an island, right? You have everything you want, right?
Right.
So it's like, stop, I know. Because the distinction between being a 9.9 at something means you would make, if you're 9.9 in income, you make $400,000 a year. Pre-COVID, inflation's changed a little bit. If you're 9.99, you make 1.7 million a year.
Isn't that crazy?
If you're 9.999, Jen, you make 7.8 million. 9.9999, you make 56 million a year. So people talk about the 1%, like the 1% is only the beginning. Don't even have a conversation about it if you're not going to be in the 1% at it. And I don't mean you have to be the best at everything.
Right.
Like, there's a whole bunch of things I'm not good at, but the things that matter to my mission, vision, purpose, I know the game begins with being a 1%er, a 1 in 100, then a 1 in 1,000, a 1 in 10,000, 100,000. You are a 1, you ready for this? Do you know what you are? Do you ever think of this? You're a 1 in 8 billion. You're the only woman on planet Earth that's climbed the second highest peak in all 7 continents.
Right.
You're 1 in 8 billion. You're not a 1%er. It's offensive to call you a 1%er. What if we all approach things like Jen?
Oh, I like that. Yeah. And here's like the fun thing. Like I always think of when like Usain Bolt like tried to break his time, right? He spent 9 years of his life to shave off like 1/100th of a second of a thing to get the best time. And when it comes to mastery, you have a goal that you're trying to achieve, but it's really like all this work and energy to have the tiniest difference that really separates you from everybody else. And it's the joy of that, right? Like when I hear you talk, like you have to fall in love with all these little pieces. Amen. Because this is the journey that makes up our life.
100%. And can I share this?
Yes.
Here's the insanity of it, which is why I love you. I feel so synergized. It's incredible because of this. To do what Jen, you did, is so hard. To do what Usain Bolt did is so hard.
Yeah.
To make 5 million, 10 million, $20 million a year is not a fraction as hard. To create duplication and scaling, it's so much easier. Because in sport, in mountain climbing, it's so difficult, like somebody wins and loses. When I fell in love with business is when I realized that, wait, I don't, like in sport, everybody loses except the champion.
Right.
Only the champion wins in the end. All of these human beings and people have to go like, well, next year. Next year in business could be in 5 minutes. We can recreate new games nonstop. So I totally agree with what you're saying, Jen, about the mastery that comes from those micro distinctions. But the cool part is winning the game of money, winning the game of duplication scaling, winning the game of impact is so much easier than winning in sports or winning in climbing mountains.
And it's not like it's a win-win, right?
Yes.
It's not like I win, you lose. It's like I win, you win. I win, you win. It's this, like everybody gets to be on the winning side of the equation.
Yes.
Yeah,
Crazy.
It is. It's so awesome. When you advise leaders on long-term impact, what's one question you make them ask about every decision they're considering?
Will you do what's optimal or will you do what's comfortable and lie to yourself? And so one of my favorite terms is fake confusion. It's like, I don't really understand. No, you understand. You just don't want to do it. It's like if you were going to climb Everest, going back to you.
Yeah.
It's like, well, no, I don't understand. Like, no, you understood. You're like, you just didn't want to do it for that long. You didn't want to do it that much. You didn't want to have to buy all the stuff. You don't have to go through all the training. Like people fully understand. And my question for people is, you're going to be in integrity. Really, that's the question. Will you be in integrity with yourself and other people? And will you not be in fake confusion where you want to recreate reality? I'm blind. I can't change that right now. I believe it's going to change someday. I have high hope for it. I'm not sure it's going to change. People go, oh, we got to believe. I don't know if it's going to change. I may leave this earth never having regained my sight. It's not what I hope. It's not what I believe. But I'm also a very realistic human. That may be the reality. AI may change that. We'll see. But here's what I absolutely unequivocally know is I deal with life as it is. And as it is it really easy to win if I will confront my comfort zones. One quick example, I teach people you need to build a platform where you're encountering people that you don't know regularly and consistently, and you're assembling those audiences yourself. People are like, well, I don't know how to do that. I don't know if I want to do that. I'm like, I'm going to give you the math of it. It's just true. So you said you want this. I'm not telling you what you should want. Just like when you were going to climb Everest, people told you what it was going to take. You then had to make an informed decision. But if you would have gone out and said, they don't know what they're talking about. No, they do, because they've taken all these people up. So you, Jen, were in integrity with yourself. You are not in fake confusion. You got your family in alignment, your children, nanny, all the things in place. And you lived integriously and authentically to the truth of what it was going to take to climb those mountains. So I ask people, will you be in integrity with yourself, or will you be in fake confusion?
Oh, fake confusion for the win today. That is something that we can all sit with and identify where we're doing that in our lives.
Amen.
Yeah. And when you set out to these goals, right? Like when I set out to climb Everest, they'd be like, okay, you need to hike 8 hours these days. I'm like, how am I going to hike 8 hours during these days? Like, I have 7 kids. What's going to look like? And so that wasn't I can't. It was how. And then you had to get creative. And so for me, I would go to soccer games with a 12-inch step and a backpack full of water bottles, and an hour and a half of that was just going up and down on a step. Was it ideal, like hiking in the mountains? Absolutely not, but it wasn't a 0.
Amen.
Right?
Am I allowed to high-five you on the podcast?
Yes.
I know we're supposed to touch you, but like it's so
Yes.
unbelievable. It's incredible. And can I share something
Yes, please.
that I did?
Yeah.
Yeah, I quit.
Okay.
So I want to go to the Paralympics. And but to go to the Paralympics, you have to be the best blind skier in America. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I'm going to be the best blind skier in America. And I, just like you, went to a person and said, what do I need to do? This person brought the last blind skier to the Paralympics. Mm-hmm. And she told me, you got to move here, do this, do that, blah, 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 blah. And I was crushed.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I don't have to do that. No, I don't have to do that. I lied to myself in fake confusion for like a week.
Yeah.
And then I went back and I said to the person, I don't want to go to the Paralympics because I can't commit to doing what it's going to take. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that's important enough for me to do.
Right.
Right? So that's what this looks like, and why I love and honor and appreciate you so much is because I was confronted with a decision that wouldn't have been as significant as what you did, as powerful and impactful, but I was honest with myself. I'm like, it is not important enough for me to go to the Paralympics. Instead, I'm going to do like these other things, right? So in this fake confusion paradigm, it's like, really be honest with yourself. Don't change the rules of the game. You didn't do it, Jen. I didn't try to do it. I just quit before I started. I love skiing. I love to get better at it, but I wasn't going to commit to it at the level that was going to take to even have the opportunity to go to the Paralympics. So be honest with yourself. Accept the reality. A lot easier to succeed in business than these other things we're talking about. But once you do, it becomes so attainable. You live in such freedom and integrity and beauty, as you do, Jen, because you lead an extreme life of mastery. But you've made conscious choices, and you don't try to change the rules of the game. You just live by them, honor them, and master them, which is why I love and am so inspired by you.
Likewise. And on this story, like when people are like hard on themselves and frustrated in life and don't know what to do, that's you're lying to yourself. You just haven't had the courage to admit, this isn't my mountain. And once you have the courage to say, guess what, this isn't my mountain, you get to put all of that weight down, and now you're a lighter individual and can get to the top of your true summit easier. So if you're listening today and you're just like, sit with yourself and say, where am I lying to myself? And where can I say, I'm not going to lie anymore, I'm going to put that away, I'm going to take that energy back, and I'm going to continue to climb where I truly will align. Sorry, I had to take that.
I'm inspired. Like
Yes.
I'm going to do that. Like, because there's no perfection.
There isn't, and
Right.
it evolves,
Yeah.
and it changes, and it moves, and it's supposed to. That's the human experience of it all.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna hit rapid fire.
Yes.
Okay, so rapid fire number 1, blind spot checker. So complete this sentence. The most common blind spot leaders miss is
That they're in fake confusion.
fake confusion. I agree with that one. Okay. Name one minimum viable process, MVP, that every founder should document first before anything else.
How they're going to build the exponential growth of the quantity and quality of their sales meetings.
Listen to that twice, please, friends. Okay, last one, influence micro hack. A one-sentence influence hack you can teach our listeners right now.
Oprah Winfrey said it. I see you, I hear you, what you say matters to me, is why she held the microphone for 30,000 people. See people, hear people, become the greatest and most powerful, authentic acknowledger of human beings, and watch them be drawn to you. I did it 10 times in this podcast. I'm not sure how many will make the cuts, but every single time was authentic and real to acknowledge Jen and her mastery. I'm in her house. In fact, I'm in everybody's house all the time when I'm with a human being. I see you, I hear you, what you say matters to them. Don't say those words, prove it by your acknowledgments and validations of their life journey and mission.
Friends, can you believe this episode today? It was absolutely amazing. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. And Sean, where do we get more?
Sure. So Unblinded Mastery is our work in the world. Tons of different things we do out there. We love to honor you and serve you in any way, shape, or form. But just check out our stuff. We have events coming up. There's all kinds of different things happening. Our next immersion is in October. Love to have you as a guest, Jen, at our Influence Mastery immersion. Check us out online, and I assure you that it will blow your mind, and just dig through the deepness of it, and we'll have a lot of fun too, because we laugh and have fun. Thank you.
Thank you.